Hey everybody, welcome to Tellor Dev Call Tuesday, May 27th. Brenda's up in Prague. If you guys are up in Prague or going to any of the European events over the next month, definitely let her know that. Yeah, we'll be posting those videos as they arrive, but should be fun. I'm excited for all the videos. I love watching all the videos from all these events. But yeah, let's get into it. Exciting week for Tellor coming up. So, Spuddy, how's things going?
Going great. I'm catching up on a bunch of piled up stuff. I made a snapshot script that's pretty cool now, so it will reset the storage. Like if you're running a validator and you need to reset the storage without getting jailed, you can just do that automatically. It's just waiting for it to like finish testing is really hard because it's the snapshot sync takes a long time. I'm doing it right now.
And I saw you put in the no stake reporting in the docs. Or glad
Yeah,
you
I
did.
did an example no stake report. I made a no stake report last week. It was pretty cool. And when I made it, it was like I could see now how it lets people just do things because you can just pay a small gas fee and report. It's pretty cool.
So for those of you guys listening, you're like, why the hell would you have a no stake report on Teller? We haven't necessarily explained it, but there was the way that Teller security works is like you have people who have stake and you lock it up and you say like if the Bitcoin price is X and you're willing to lose it. Um, if all of the reporters do that, there's a whole lot of money locked up. So like two-thirds of our validator set, that's what we call consensus values, kind of like how Cosmos finalizes. We all agree that this is the price and we move forward. And that those are very, very secure. But if you just put like one TRB up and write a report, you were technically still allowed to submit reports. And a lot of times this is how people were doing it. But what's the security on that? You can be disputed, and technically you would lose $40. But it was very, very minimal, right? There wasn't necessarily any large amount of crypto economic security in it. It was more just a transparent way to put data on chain and verify for everybody, almost like, similar to like a data availability layer. You're posting the data, everybody can see it, everybody can agree that it's there. Um, and whenever you're making some applications, though, a lot of times getting that one TRB is really annoying. Like, so, like it's just like you have like if you think about like a front end or a game, let's say you were going to do like a blockchain gaming type thing. If you required everybody to go to Coinbase, buy a TRB, and then bridge it over to Layer in order to play your game, nobody would probably ever play your game. Whereas if you could just come and start throwing stuff on chain, that's cool. So we implemented a way to submit even with no stake, um, just for certain use cases that need that, making us a little bit more flexible. So anyway, if you hear us talking about that, that's what that is. All right, continuing down the line. Caleb, how's things?
Good. I got a event listener going on that's connecting to an RPC and sending Discord alerts for a bunch of different situations that we want to be alerted for. Also, just trying to drill down on the Grafana page. We're having some weird data that doesn't really make sense and doesn't track when manually testing things. So figuring that out so that we can have like the best overview of the chain as it goes.
Dan, how's things?
Yeah, I'm just adding some extra tests right now for the pagination stuff because I need some extra querying for a profitability tracker.
Ryan?
Got a big old foot in my mouth from this bridge page. Tim put together a really nice, cohesive guide for me and Cursor to digest, and that essentially kind of had to rewrite a bunch of stuff and kind of spent the weekend getting back to where I was at the end of the week. But I'm learning a lot, especially about code organization. I think I'm trying to handle a lot on one app.js file, so
This is React, right?
yeah.
It's a nightmare to begin with.
But yeah, so I'm gonna power through this, lick my wounds. I've learned a lot. I'm gonna try to clean up the code too, so we don't run into this moving forward. But
All right. No, I'm excited for the demo.
cool.
Tim?
So last week, I did a lot of updating and moving around of the EVM user side of Layer. So, and now I'm working on finishing documenting how you use those things. But yeah, I updated using Tellor Layer, a library, and then sample using Tellor layer. It's called something different on GitHub. But so once I wrap up the documentation, I'm moving on to some monitoring.
Nice. The bad attestations. So that's in, right?
That is not in.
That is not in. So we still have to do that.
Yes,
Okay. And then we have to figure out how to monitor for that as well. Even trickier.
it is. Yeah.
But cool. That sounds good. And then Spuddy, since is everybody upgraded on the chain?
I mean, I have not checked the public validators, but let's see how many we got.
And then, I mean, we had the one thing that some validators reach out to is now we crash your node if you aren't set up properly, right?
Yeah, that went over pretty well. They were able to fix it in a few minutes. And yeah, we wanted to make sure that people were doing that right, because if it happens on mainnet, it can cause a lot of problems for the bridge security. And yeah, so if you're running a validator, you got to make sure that those keys are passed in, even if you have a password. So if you are using like a backend that has a password, you're being prompted when you start the layer client. So you have to use an expect script or some other method to pass in that password. Another case that was causing it is when people were running it as root. Their user did not have permission to access the keys that were stored in root because they set it up in root. That was the other way that people were messing it up.
Akram?
Work as just messing around with the counting nodes or trying to estimate the number of nodes in a network. So, last week I think I said 140 or 130. It's actually apparently same IPs can be used for multiple networks, right? Which is, obviously possible, but it's like down to 39. We have 26 active validators, so some of them, I'm assuming, are running just as nodes. It's difficult to get an exact number because some of them are private. Yeah, so
39 sounds more in the range of
more realistic.
Yes, that sounds probably about correct.
Yeah, the other one that they're using, which is funny enough, but it's just one network and its own mainnet.
Cool.
Most of them were coming from there. So
yeah, once we're at like a very stable state, I would love to like build the little hardware boxes for the node, like the DApp nodes that people sell.
Yeah,
just because that would be sick to sell. Cool. Well, things are coming along with the testnet. A few more things we want to test here, and then yeah, hopefully we can start pushing off mainnet, start building some users on it, and this should be fun. Anyway, thanks guys. This was fun. Talk to you guys next week.